For more on this, let's look at former spokesman of the Nigerian Air Adesanya Olatokunbo. Good to have you join us tonight. 2 precision airstrikes carried out by the Nigerian Air Force against armed bandits in Zamfara State. A departure from era bombings. What does this say about the current form of officers in the war against terror?
Thank you for having me this evening. I wouldn't call it a really sharp departure. It's what the Air Force has been doing, and it's something that is much welcome. Although the acquisition of precision strike capability by the Nigerian Air Force in recent times has also made it easier to be more precise in the delivery of his weapons. And of course, it's much a welcome development in the fight against terrorism in Nigeria.
And with attacks of this precision, terrorists will be fleeing. How do we ensure that remnants of the terrorists do not infiltrate the communities?
Certainly, the best way to make maximum use of such strike is to ensure that we have a proper coordination between ground troops and the air troops. It's not unexpected that some of the terrorists might be able to survive, some with wounds, some maybe without wounds. And ordinarily, what should then follow up is what we call mop-up operations that should be conducted by the ground troops. And from what I've been noticing in recent times, there's been a lot of coordination and jointness between the various services, as well as even other and non-military services that are involved in the operation. So I expect that those terrorists that might have escaped the bombing attack will have been mopped up by ground troops, as should be the case.
And how risky might the mop-up operations be, considering one strategy of the enemy to always use humans, to use their captives as human shield?
Well, certainly every military operation is risky. But in this case, one thing that is very, very crucial to the success of any operation is the accuracy of intelligence. And from the videos I've watched of this particular strike, it was a very accurate intelligence. And you will see that the only possible humans you see in that place will be terrorists. And the possibility of them having humans as human shield in this case is quite minimized.
All right, let's now talk about the joint U.S.-Nigeria airstrike against terrorists in Sokoto. Some people have questioned the success of the operation because they say there are no bodies to show. What are the standard practice, and are their concerns valid, or is it too early?
Well, when it comes to operations, it isn't all the time that information is made public. There's what we call classification of information. And if it is deemed that at this point, the release of such information might be prejudicial to the success of subsequent operations, then there is a possibility that such information will be withheld now. Before any battle damage assessment, the video clips of battle damage assessments are released, it's always made certain that the release of such information will not in any way be harmful to the success of subsequent operations.
And if I may quickly get a reaction, as someone who has at some point been at the forefront and who is still very much involved following security situation in Nigeria, what to take about that joint operation by the U.S. and Nigerian forces?
Well, I see it as a welcome development. Indeed, it's not as if it's a new thing that will have the United States being helpful to Nigeria. For several years, there has been a lot of cooperation between both parties. And we've had, for example, the sharing of intelligence from the United States. We've had support in terms of the supply of military aircraft and munitions. So it's a welcome development. And what ordinarily many will have found out will be the possibility of the question of violation of Nigeria's sovereignty. But as it was made very clear by the Nigerian government, this was an operation that was sanctioned by the Nigerian government. So the issue of violation of our sovereignty does not come into play. And so I see it as a welcome development. Indeed, every possible assistance that can be secured towards successfully prosecuting the war against terrorism should be very much welcomed by Nigeria and indeed all well-meaning Nigerians.
Of the Nigerian Air Force, retired Air Vice Marshal Adesonya Olatokunbo, thank you so much for your time on TVC News at 10.
It's always my pleasure.
Well, let's now bring you details of that earlier report where a joint military operation involving Nigerian troops and the U.S. forces led to airstrikes on a Lakurawa terrorist enclave in Tangaza, that is, in Sokoto State. Our reporter has more.
According to military sources, the operation was carried out on December 25, 2025, following intelligence reports on the movement of Lakurawa terrorists along the Kaurau axis. The airstrikes conducted by US AFRICOM targeted locations within the Baoni forest, around Warrior and Al-Qasim villages. Troops from Combat Infantry Battalion 7 later moved into the area at first light on December the 26th to exploit the operation. They reportedly found the forest around the impact sites completely burnt and destroyed. No human casualties were recorded during the operation. Meanwhile, troops of 1 Brigade CT-12 stationed at FOB Jabo in Kebbi State reported hearing an aircraft, followed by an explosion on the same day. A patrol to Kajiji town in Tambuwal local government area led to the recovery of suspected drone-like engine parts and other debris. The following day, another object believed to be a canister dropped along the missile flight path was discovered, prompting the immediate cordoning off of the area pending assessment by an explosive ordnance disposal team. Preliminary findings indicate that the recovered objects are fuel boosters from Tomahawk missiles used during the airstrike, which are typically jettisoned after takeoff. Military authorities say further investigations are ongoing to improve coordination with partners and to identify remaining drop locations of the boosters as part of efforts to prevent potential collateral damage and strengthen future joint operations.